Is Night Diaries a good way to let my mom and stepdad know that they should not be shocked by what my younger brother said to them after they played a practical joke on him? I am a 20-year-old woman and the eldest sister of my 17-year-old biological brother. Last year, he completed high school. I have a close relationship with my younger brother. He claims that he loves me more than anyone else and that I am his best friend. He has plenty of pals of his own, so this is obviously untrue. Since last year, my brother has been requesting a new car for his graduation celebration from our stepdad, who is now also our mother. He said that he would use his own hard-earned money to cover 50 to 75% of the cost, with the remainder being covered by them. No, I have a car, but I have been working for one, they said. They assisted me in covering the cost. After a while, my brother's confrontations with our parents became intense. I had promised my brother that if I had a nice car of my own, would help him pay for it. He gave me a hug and assured me that he owed me far more than I owed him, so I did not have to worry. However, he persisted in pressuring our parents throughout the previous year until they finally agreed, just as they had done for me. Please take note that my brother and our stepdad often have a bad relationship. Shortly after our biological parents' divorce while we were little, our stepfather and biological mother reunited. To be honest, I believe that my brother's theory that our mother and stepdad were seeing each other before to our original parents' divorce may be accurate. Not sure, though. In any case, in order to avoid him being gawked at the graduation celebration, my brother, mother, and stepdad made a concession and pledged to buy him the automobile in 2021. My brother and my stepfather, who is also my mother, are still arguing about the automobile as of June of this year. The disputes are now becoming louder and continuing for hours into the evening. My brother and my stepdad were yelling at each other over it, but last week they came to an agreement and the automobile was purchased. When my brother wakes up on the fated morning, our mom and stepdad are leading him outside to a car, not his, but our mother's. My brother's and my stepdad's money was utilized for a stupid joke. Purchased an entirely other car model and claimed it was for our mother. Our mother and father simply shared a chuckle and a kiss. My brother remained composed. He did not even appear irate. I am not joking, verbatim, you might think I am effing stupid, he added, looking dead in our stepdad's eyes. You may believe anything. However, I am superior to you, buddy. What do you know? You are aware of that. I am aware of that. Additionally, our mother is a fool for continuing to date an NDH like you. However, I will make you wish we had never met. I swear to you. Even though you are laughing right now, you will be crying later. Then, while they watched in horror, he left without even turning to face them. Feeling bad for my brother, I told them that they had it coming and that I was not shocked when they asked me what it was about. They grounded us both as a result. I feel terrible for my little brother, but I have had to tell my friends about the issue and I am no longer able to see them. They agreed with me on this point and requested me to do everything in my power to console him. However, our parents are furious and fail to recognize that my brother's heart has been broken. Is Night Diaries a good way to let my mom and stepdad know that they should not be shocked by what my younger brother said to them after they played a practical joke on him? So, if it is real, is it a prank? If it is, what is truly occurred? Because of the portion that claims the stepfather bought a totally different kind of car with his and my brother's money in an idiotic prank and said it was for our mother. You can read some of the items here in a few different ways, which makes the writing style a little bit complicated. However, it is evident that the stepfather used their combined funds to purchase an entirely different car model for their mother. However, this is an extremely strange prank. Is it meant to imply that he receives the other automobile or that he simply spends the son's money and receives no cars at all? The brother has been saving the money all this time, so if that is the case, this is really strange. The stepfather then uses it for the wrong person and for completely arbitrary purposes. If it is not your money and it is not reversible, it does not seem like a good topic for a practical joke. That is what they would have said if it had been. It is not a prank, then. This is simply what the father did. In summary, the stepfather steals the child's money, uses it to buy the mother a car, and then laughs about it. They are perplexed by the threat the brother makes. In fact, it has the parents perplexed. Strange circumstance. If you were in this situation and someone used all of your savings to buy a car for someone else, how would you respond? What are your thoughts? Is this one an NDH or not? What is the best way to let my childhood bully, a male transgender woman, know that she will always be the boy who tormented me? I was cruelly harassed by this boy in middle school. Every chance he got, he made school a living hell, propagated lies about me, and branded me worthless and stupid. Y came out as a male to female transgender person more than 13 years ago. She asked me to meet up via a social media message. She apologized for bullying me when we went out for coffee. It was something like, "I apologize for being cruel. When I was younger, I was having trouble identifying with my gender. I expressed my gratitude for her apologies. I tried not to respond when she asked whether she was forgiven. What she did to me still bothers me. I was a vulnerable young girl, therefore what Y did to me had a significant effect on me. After that, I battled with self-esteem for years. Y became defensive. I should forgive her, she said, since I was being petty. I explained to her why. I will never forget you as the boy who tormented me. That will not alter with an apology. When I used the word boy, she became quite outraged and accused me of misgendering her. She stormed out after calling me petty, uneducated, nasty, and transphobic. Hub for Night Diaries. When someone apologizes and then insists that you accept their apologies, it is always amusing. Really, that is not the point of an apology. An apology is only an expression of regret. Whether or not they accept it is something they must handle and determine for themselves. It is possible that the OP may eventually accept this apology, but it is much less likely now that the OP is under pressure to do so because Y is becoming defensive and acting in a hurry to get the apology accepted rather than paying attention to the harm that this bullying caused the OP. What triggered this, in my opinion, was the OP's statement that, "You will always be the boy that bullied me," which I do not believe was intended to misgender Y. I believe it was intended to be more like the OP's mental picture of the entire incident, but Y most certainly did not view it that way. Y most likely interpreted that as an insult, stating that Y would always be a male. In terms of what they were attempting to express, there is undoubtedly a disconnect, but it appears that the main source of the OP's frustration is that Y is not paying attention to her as often as the OP requires. If this were your bully, how would you respond? And is it an NDH or not? I am a 25-year-old woman who has been vegan for almost 11 years. Since learning about the origins of meat when I was around 4 or 5 years old, I have abstained from eating it. There were a lot of tears, spoiler alert. Everyone in my life is aware of and respectful of this, so I assumed it was no secret. I will admit that I got white girl wasted at a party 4 nights ago. As a joke, my pals fed me chicken nuggets because they thought it would be hilarious. Before eating, I asked them if these were vegan. My buddies said that they are sun-fed, a kind of vegan chicken substitute. I thought it was simply because I was sloshed, but they tasted odd to me. I was mistaken. My sister informed me the following day, instructing me to view my friend's Snapchat tale. In the story, they first showed me the packaging for the nuggets before handing them to me, along with the exchange in which I inquired about their veganism. Later, when I discovered that I had consumed meat, they made fun of me and pretended to be me. For example, shrieking and pretending to cry, the chickens. On the grounds of food tampering, I took a screen capture of the footage and presented it to the police. 3 of my former acquaintances are currently being charged. They all believe that I am exaggerating a harmless joke. Night Diaries Hub, then. In my opinion, they publicly humiliated me, interfered with my food, and took advantage of my sloshed state. To them, it was merely a practical joke. It truly surprises me that the police will take action, even if it means charging them. People always take food tampering very seriously, especially if the person is vegan, has an allergy, or has a lifestyle that requires them to make certain accommodations. According to what I understand and what I remember, people who have been vegan for a long time and accidentally eat meat or something that contains meat, perhaps ingredients spilled or something, can actually become ill from eating that food. If I am not mistaken, you guys can correct me, but I believe that because you have not had to produce the enzymes needed to break down the food, specifically meat-based food, you no longer have those. Thus, you may have stomach pains and find yourself in a very uncomfortable situation. Even without all of that, though, it is still fairly messed up to fool someone into eating something that they should not because of their beliefs or health. Tell me what you people think about calling the police over this chicken nugget hoax, whether you think it is an NDH or not. Is Night Diaries the reason you do not accept my sister's connection with my ex, even though she had cancer when she was a teenager? My father married my stepsister's mother when I was 4 and she was 3 years old. I am a 26-year-old woman, and my stepsister is 24. We are a family, having spent the majority of our lives together. I was really close to her. She was ill for almost 3 years after being diagnosed with cancer at the age of 14. Since then, she has fully recovered. It seems sense that my parents become overly protective around that time. They asked me a lot of questions, too. I gave up my extracurricular activities in order to find employment, pay for her medical expenses, and provide transportation to and from her appointments. I did not participate in any enjoyable events, such as dances, and whatever enjoyable activities I did had to involve her. With the exception of having to leave my high school volleyball team, I did practically all of this voluntarily. I did have a small outburst over that, but I was quickly disciplined. And considering the situation, I believe that having one emotional breakdown was really calm. In any case, I met my ex-boyfriend Hudson while attending college. I was a junior at the time. Blah blah blah, we fell in love. When we graduate, he and I move in together. Thus, it has been almost 4 years since we moved in together. Up until July, when I entered my bedroom and discovered him boinking my sister, we were serious. I ended it. They cried. He left, etc. After initially apologizing, my sister withdrew her apology. She called me last week to ask if we could meet up, but I assumed she was giving me space. Before they started sharing pictures online, she informed me that she and Hudson were in love and that they were only informing me out of courtesy. I was so upset that I neglected to pay my share of the bill and left her alone in the restaurant. Later, she asked for the money via Venmo. After she told my parents, they called me to their home and expressed their disappointment in me for not assisting my sister in her relationship with Hudson. They brought up the fact that she struggles to meet people and never taught good social etiquette because she was diagnosed with cancer as a youngster. We spent a significant portion of her illness together, thus I have seen her mingle absolutely fine, therefore I do not buy this. According to that reasoning, I should likewise have poor social skills. They then threatened to cut off all communication with me if I did not approve of my sister and Hudson's relationship. They insist that this is about me being envious of her, even when I told them that I am also their daughter and they should respect my viewpoint. Just so you know, I am not envious of her. The fact that Hudson chose her over me does not bother me. Although I feel betrayed and saddened by the breakup, I do not want to be with someone who cheats. My sister's preference for Hudson over me is what I am upset about. That despite knowing how badly it pains me, she continued to be with Hudson after having an affair with him when we were in a serious, long-term relationship. My immediate family is no longer communicating with me, and I am receiving texts from aunts, uncles, and cousins accusing me of being a selfish bee and an NDH. She states, it turns out that my sister was not only in a relationship with Hudson, but also 4 months pregnant, during the update. This implies that she and Hudson shared a bed for a longer period of time than I had anticipated. My parents seem to be really insistent that I pardon her because I am already destroying their first grandchild's experience. Yes, my stepmom publishing ultrasounds to Facebook is more significant than me. We are at this point. Are Night Diaries the reason you do not accept my sister's connection with my ex, even though she had cancer when she was a teenager. What a terrible pretext. Do not misunderstand, having cancer is terrible. However, the stepsister and her parents both claim that she must cannibalize her own family since she lacks social skills. Does the family, after all, not realize that Hudson was having an affair with their other daughter? Do they not see that aspect of the narrative? We vouch for him because it is difficult to picture any parent saying, "Oh yeah, this guy's good." However, it could be because they were previously aware of the stepsister's pregnancy. And they do not give a damn, they simply want a grandchild. They claim that he is unfaithful, but it does not matter because he is giving us a child. And perhaps because of her alleged poor social skills, they never thought the stepsister would ever become a mother. Which seems like a very bad justification. However, tell me what you would do if you were in this circumstance. And is it an NDH or not?